This episode is brought to you by John Blake Sales Breakthrough Solutions, helping you to at least double the amount of leads that you get that convert into paying clients.
Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker's Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 172, and today we're going to talk about the three most important things to consider if you are changing industries. So this is such an important idea because there is so much changing in business at the moment, and often you can change industries and do incredibly well with the same skill set. A lot of people don't understand how transferable their skill sets are. So I think this is going to be a really good one for you today. But before we do that, if you have got leads that you want to convert that you've spoken to, you've sent them a quote or a proposal, you haven't converted them yet, I want you to head over to johnblakeaudio.com. What I've got there is a training that shows you how to double sales with your existing lead flow. So these are people that you've already spoken to that haven't committed yet, and they're probably sitting in your proposal presented column of your CRM. And often what a lot of people do is they try, one or two times and then they give up. This gives you a framework, exactly what to write in your emails, exactly what to say when you call, what to say if you get voicemail, exactly when to call and when to email over a 90-day period. If you implement what it is that you will learn in this training over at johnblakeaudio.com, you will see a significant shift in your sales. This is hidden money in your business. They are sales that are just sitting there waiting to be converted by someone, and it may as well be you, because I can tell you that your competitors are probably not doing it in the way that I am suggesting that you should do it. It's a 15-minute audio. What you'll also get is the exact word-for-word scripts that you can cut and paste in a PDF document. It's over at johnblakeaudio.com. Go grab it, put it into practice, let me know how you go with it. Okay, so changing industries. So this has come up. I've nearly done a podcast on this a couple of times. And why is that I have a friend who I've known for a long time. He actually was one of my team members when I ran a sunglass company. Years ago, I was working for another guy. This is when I was an employer. An employee. There's a difference. So this is when I was an employee, when I was national sales manager of a sunglass company. And I had this guy working for me. He was great. He's really good at what he did a fantastic job. And he's gone on to run his own businesses, a couple of different businesses. And the surf market, which is where we were, the action sports market, has gone through some pretty big changes, some pretty big troughs. Had a bit of a resurgence during COVID, but it's a mature market, and it's not like it was when I was involved, which was in the late 80s and 90s. And I had this conversation with him, and we were talking, and I said to him, "Why don't you look at going into a different industry?" And he looked at me and he just, I just couldn't do it. I just don't think I could do it. I really don't feel like I could work in a different industry. This is all I've known. And I remember thinking, in fact, I remember saying to him, what you need to understand is that there's not that much difference from industry to industry. Yeah, sure, you might need to learn a different product skill set, but that's pretty straightforward. What you are going to discover is that you are dealing with humans, right? And you are going to be working in a company, and I was very, very frank with him. I said, look, people are just as disorganized regardless of which industry you go into. Business is not that different from industry to industry. And the reason that I know that is that when I first started this consulting business, I was niched. I was niched in the exact same industry. I was niched in the action sports industry. And for the first 5 years, they were the only clients that I dealt with. I dealt with surf shops, I dealt with surf wholesale businesses and importers. and then gradually started to go into different industries. So from there, we went into media. So I dealt with some print media companies, and then I dealt with we actually dealt with some newspapers, one of the biggest newspapers in Western Australia. We did some work in television, did some work with radio, did some work with cinema advertising. So we were sort of niched into that industry, and we had to learn a whole bunch of new things there. And then from there, we started working with telcos, and then we started working with financial planning companies. So, and then since then, we've gone from financial services to trades and construction, fitness professionals, learning and development. And what I know is that you are not going to see that much difference other than the type of product and perhaps some nuances and some different ways that you need to talk about that particular product or service, or the way that you need to express yourself in that particular market. Sometimes there are some nuances there, but outside of that, it's not that different. If you have a skill set, and if you are in sales, or if you're a business person, then you have a skill set. You can apply that skill set virtually anywhere. A lot of people who listen to the podcast want to know what we do over at Master Dealmaker Secrets. And effectively what we do is we work with sales professionals and business owners all over the world who are seeing massive increases in their top line sales revenue. So we help business owners and sales professionals to effectively focus on the three key drivers to growing sales revenue in your business. The first one is controlling the message that you send out into the marketplace so that potential clients see and hear and read what you do as an opportunity as opposed to your competitors. The second thing that we do is we help you to create a direct path to the 20% of your ideal clients that will deliver 80% of the revenue. So everyone knows the 80-20 rule. We help you to develop a direct path to the 20% of the people that are going to give you 80% of your sales revenue in your business. And the third thing that we allow you to do, that we create a process for, is for you to be able to double the amount of leads that you get that convert into paying clients. So if this is of interest, we do have an application-only process to become involved in this particular program. And to get to there, all you need to do is to go to www.johnblakescall.com. So it's JOHNBLAKESCALL.com, and there's a couple of questions to answer there. And then what you'll do is get on a quick conversation with me, and I can find out a little bit more about what you've got going on in your business and see potentially whether what you are doing would be a fit for what we could help you with. And at that point, I can extend an invitation if it's a fit, and you can make the choice to come on board or not. So that's the opportunity. That would be the next step if you're looking at how you can take things to the next level. If you're enjoying what you're hearing on the podcast, if you're getting value from it, I invite you to do that, and I will look forward to talking to you. The website is www.johnblakescall.com. Talk to you soon. And so I wanted to make that contrast between someone who's like, I want to do something different, and then they go and get another job in the same industry, and the industry might be on a downward slide. So for instance, the print media industry, we were heavily involved with a few years ago. They were desperately trying to cling on to their market share, and it was going backwards at a rate of knots. So the industry that you choose is really, really important. So what I'm going to move into now are the three most important things that you need to consider if you're going to change industries. And the number one consideration is the industry growing, right? So there was a famous bank robber called Willie Sutton, and he used to always rob banks, and then he would get caught and he would go to prison, and then they'd let him out, and then they would, and then he would pretty much go and rob another bank. And they interviewed him one day, and they said, "Why do you keep robbing banks?" And his answer was, "Because that's where the money is." So pick an industry that is growing, where there is healthy growth. And you don't have to look that far, like do a Google search, do a Google Trends search, look at who's advertising, for staff. So the three big things I came up with is do a Google search on market size and growth. So you could just do, let's just say, software, market growth and size. And then you might start to see all the different segments, and you could kind of make a call as to what type of software that you might want to move into. So, software is just one example of an industry that's growing. I know another industry that's growing a lot at the moment is security. So cybersecurity, selling cybersecurity products, and even physical, home security. That's a growing market at the moment. So do a Google search on the market size and growth. Look at the job boards and see if there's lots of people advertising for team members, and try and pick something that's future-proof. Because the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is that if you go into a market that's growing, if you go into a booming industry, you can be good at what you do. I'm sure you're good at what you do, but you can be okay or good at what you do. But if the market's growing, then you tend to, and the tides, the tides, lifting, you tend to look fantastic by default, because there's so much demand for what it is that you're selling. Then the actual sales skills become a little bit less important. You need to obviously be able to, have a conversation that results in a sale, but you can do a lot better by default and look fantastic, even if you're okay or good at sales. So I hope this has been useful. And like I said, if you're going to change industries, don't be scared. Like, have a look at a place that you might want to go. Have a look at your existing network, existing contacts, and make the shift. Go there. Go do something different. The actual learning of the product part is going to be a lot less of an issue than what you think it is. And the ability to deal with people is going to be 70-80% of the contributor to your success. So if you're looking at changing industries, don't be scared. Have a crack. Do your homework. Use the three things that I talked about, and I wish you all the best of luck. So I want to thank you again for listening. It's now a new year, 2023. I've got plenty more coming this year, so thank you so much for continuing to be a listener and for tuning in every other week when we release these. I've got plenty more coming, and again, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you on the next podcast. Cheers.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies and maximize your sales process with new episodes every other week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive, free, no fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.